Charana Padama Kevala Bhakati Sadama Kevala Bhakati Banadomu Ishavadana Mate Vanadamu Ishabadana Mate Yahara Prasade Bhai Eva Bhatori Ajay Krishna Prabhuti Hoya Hoite Krishna Prabhuti Hoya Hoite Guru Mukha Padma Bhakya Chite De Koriya Kya Harana Koriyo Mane Asha Arana Koriyo Mane Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asa Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Asa Chakudana dilo je janme janme Prabhu se Chakudana dilo je janme janme Prabhu se Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita Divya Vivekyan de Prakashita Prema Bhaktiya Oite Abhidya Vinasayate Prema Bhaktiya Oite Abhidya Vinasayate Vedegaya Haracharita Vedegaya Haracharita Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhama Jana Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhama Jana Bandhu Lokkanad Lokarajivana Lokkanana Lokarajivana Prabhu Koro Daya Deho More Bada Daya More Bada Daya Prabhu Koro Daya Deho More Bada Daya Eveyad Gusup Tribhuvana Eveyad Gusup Tribhuvana Prabhu Koro Daya Deho More Bada Jaya Prabhu Koro Daya Deho More Bada Jaya Eveyang Gusup Tribhuvana Eveyang Gusup Tribhuvana Prabhupada Bodhita Bhavana Kila Prabhupada Bodhita Bhavana Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesa Sunnavadi Paschatya Desatarine Gauravani Pracharine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Go permanently. Now, Mr. Pad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Stotarasthara Shishiman Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Now, Mr. Pad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Stotarasthara Shishiman Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananakoti Vaishnavina Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Syadaita Gadadhara Shivasari, Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogopina, Sham Kund, Radha Kund, Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shri Nam Sankirtan Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo, glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. So this is reading from the latest edition of Back to Godhead magazine. It was on the altar this morning, offered to Radhesham, and it is on newsstands now. You can get it at the temple gift shop also. So these are from the questions and answers that come at the beginning of every magazine. So this is from someone named Parag, and he said, recycle, reduce, reuse is the mantra for nature. What is Prabhupada's opinion? So the reply, Srila Prabhupada liked the phrase simple living and high thinking, and he himself practiced and encouraged his followers to practice the same principles implied by the recycle, reduce, reuse slogan. He taught that the earth is a person, a goddess who is the consort of the Lord, he taught that the earth is a person, a goddess who is the consort of the Lord, and so a God-conscious person naturally wants to lead an ecologically responsible life. According to Prabhupada, if we become Krishna conscious, if we have Krishna conscious leaders, and if we serve Krishna, then Krishna will give us plenty of everything, and we will naturally be careful about our treatment of Mother Earth and Mother Cow. This brings auspiciousness. The Vedic scriptures give this example. If you want to water a tree, you don't have to water each leaf and branch, but you simply pour water on the roots, and the whole tree will be supplied with water. Similarly, when Krishna, the root of everything, is pleased, then he will supply us in abundance with all we need to serve him. If we abuse nature for our sense gratification, our greed and lust will destroy the planet and make our lives more and more miserable. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Please bring back your stainless steel plates that you're keeping at home so we don't have to keep buying paper plates, throw them away. Okay, today is the anniversary date of Gundicha Marjana, and we're going to have our own Maha Temple cleaning coming up in about 2 weeks prior to Janmashtami. Nice time to remember Lord Chaitanya cleaning the Gundicha Temple. Leelananda emailed me this morning. He has a nice customer who he's sort of been cultivating, an older woman, and she sent him an email to say that 2 Hare Krishnas came to her house. They were going door to door, and they wanted to talk to her about Krishna and give her books. And she was very happy, and she said they invited her to the Sunday feast, and she liked it a lot. So keep in mind, devotees are going out and inviting people to the Sunday feast. So please be conscious at the Sunday feast that there are guests here, and they'd like to know more about Krishna consciousness, and please engage yourself in that way, speaking to guests and being cordial with them, taking them to the front of the line so they don't have to wait at the end, and just giving them a little bit of your association. The Mongol Sweets today were sponsored by Bhaktin Roma and her son Tanvir. Roma is here, Hare Krishna. She's visiting us for a few days in the guest house, and we're very happy to have you here, Hare Krishna. And finally, I want to let everyone know that okay, there's door-to-door tonight, leaving from the temple at 6 p.m. If anyone would like to go, just meet at the parking lot, and you'll pack up with the kuti and whoever else is going. So, very nice. Prabhatsu Prabhu left his body yesterday, and I understand that Siladicha and Adidev were with him, and prior to their coming, there were other devotees with him in the morning. And I want to thank all the devotees who took their time driving to Lake City and visiting him several times. Many devotees were taking that on as a service. It's very, very wonderful. I know he was incredibly grateful to everyone coming for him, and he was a very, very nice devotee who went on Harinam. That's how I know him the most, but other people know him in other ways, and there'll be a memorial service. But Bibatsu always, he always came out on the Harinams, which was quite inspiring for me because it was so physically challenging for him even to get from his car to the spot where we were parked, but he didn't take it on as a difficulty at all. He just loved to go out. So anyway, I know that he is now in Srila Prabhupada's loving care, and thank you to everyone who helped him on his journey back home, back to Godhead. These are the devotees who assisted their spiritual master dressing the deities today. Shishi Radhasham Sundar Guru Prasad Devi Dasi, Chota Radhasham Sundar Leela Devi Dasi, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Vijay Radha Devi Dasi. I should have known. I wondered who made there's little cherries all tied up with bows, little bunches of cherries all over Krishna and Balaram for their day in the forest. It looks like they've already been in the forest with those garlands. Chotarat Krishna Balaram Nitai Priya Devi Dasi, Shri Shri Garnatai Astasaki Devi Dasi, Chota Garnatai Ekadasi Vrata Devi Dasi, Gurzan Lord Nrsingadev Krishna Kripa Moya Das. Somehow, I don't know who's giving class today. Pushkar Prabhu is giving class today.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Bhajajanna Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajajanna Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachariyam Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki jai, jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Stotra Sata Shri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Go Premanandi, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Shuka Uvacha Ityacharantam Sadharman Pavanam Grihamedinam Tameva Sarvageheshu Santam Ekam Dadashaha Ityacharantam Sadharman Pavanam Grihamedina Tameva Sarvageheshu Santamekam Dadashaha. Ityacharantam sadharman Pavanan grihamedhinam Tameva sarvageheshu Santamekam Dadashaha. Iti or Shishuku Vacha. Sukadeva Goswami said, Iti, thus, Acharantam, performing, Sat, spiritual, Dharamam, the principles of religion, Pavanam, purifying, Grihamedinam, for householders, Tam, him, Eva, indeed, Sarva, in all, Geheshu, the palaces, Santam, present, Ekam, in one form, Dadarshaha, he saw. Shukadeva Goswami said this, thus in every palace, Narada saw the Lord in his same personal form, executing the transcendental principles of religion that purify those engaged in household affairs. Purport. In this verse, Shukadeva Goswami repeats what the Lord has himself explained, as Srila Prabhupada writes in Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead was engaged in his so-called household affairs in order to teach people how one can sanctify one's household life, although he may be attached to the imprisonment of material existence. Actually, one is obliged to continue the term of material existence because of household life. But the Lord, being very kind upon householders, demonstrated the path of sanctifying ordinary household life. Because Krishna is the center of all activities, a Krishna-conscious householder's life is transcendental to Vedic injunctions and is automatically sanctified. As stated in text 2 of this chapter, all the Lord's activities in the many palaces were performed by the Lord's single spiritual form, Ekena Vapusha, which manifested in many places at once. This vision was revealed to Narada because of his desire to see it and the Lord's desire to show it to him. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that the other residents of Dwarka could see Krishna only in the particular part of the city they themselves occupied, not anywhere else, even if they would sometimes go to another precinct on some business. Thus the Lord gave a special view of his pastimes to his beloved devotee Narada Muni. So, text 42 up to 45, I will chant. We'll read the purport. Krishnasyananta viryasya yoga maya mahodayam mahordrishtva shirabhud vismito jata kautuka. Having repeatedly seen the vast mystic display of Lord Krishna, whose power is unlimited, the sage was amazed and filled with wonder. Ityartha kama dharmeshu krishnena shaditatmana samyak sabhajita pritas tam evanus maranyayo. Lord Krishna greatly honored Narada, faithfully presenting him with gifts related to economic prosperity, sense gratification, and religious duties. Thus fully satisfied, the sage departed, constantly remembering the Lord. Purport. As Srila Prabhupada points out in Krishna, the phrase Artha Kama Dharmeshu indicates that Lord Krishna was behaving like an ordinary householder, deeply concerned with economic development, sense gratification, and religious duties. Narada could understand the Lord's purpose, and he was most pleased by Lord Shri Krishna's exemplary behavior. Thus, fully enlivened in pure Krishna consciousness, he departed. Evam manusya padavi manovartamano narayano kila bhavaya grahita shakti remenga sodasha sahasra varanganana savrida sauhrada narikshanaha sadushta. In this way, Lord Narayan imitated the ways of ordinary humans, manifesting his divine potencies for the benefit of all beings. Thus he enjoyed, dear king, in the company of his 16,000 exalted consorts, who served the Lord with their shy, affectionate glances and laughter. Last verse of this chapter is 45. Yata vishva vilayod bhava vritti hetu karmanyananya vishayani harishchakara yastvanga gayati shranotya namodate va bhakti bhaved bhagavati hipavargava marge. Lord Hare is the ultimate cause of universal creation, maintenance, and destruction. My dear king, anyone who chants about, hears about, or simply appreciates the extraordinary activities he performed in this world, which are impossible to imitate, will surely develop devotion for the Supreme Lord, the bestower of liberation. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti has given various meanings for the word Ananya Vishayani. This term may indicate that the Lord performed activities in Dwarka that were unusual even for his plenary expansions, to say nothing of others. Or the term can be understood to indicate that the Lord performed these activities for the sake of his pure exclusive devotees. In any case, one who recites or hears accounts of these pastimes will certainly be engaged in Krishna consciousness, and as Srila Prabhupada writes, certainly find it very easy to traverse the path of liberation and taste the nectar of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Srila Prabhupada further points out the word anumodate here indicates one who supports a preacher of the Krishna consciousness movement will also receive the benefits mentioned here. Thus end the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the 10th canto, 69th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Narada Muni Visits Lord Krishna's Palaces in Dwarka. Om Gyani Manandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshura Militangyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Oh, back to number 1 or 41. Ityacharantam Saddhanamam Pavanam Grihamaidinam Tameva Sarvageheshu Santamekam Dadarshaha. Shukadeva Goswami said, thus in every palace, Narada saw the Lord in the same personal form, executing the transcendental principles of religion that purify those engaged in household affairs. So we have some interesting words in this one verse. Dharmam, sad, dharma. Sad dharma samstapako. We have this term given by Srinivasacharya. The 6 Goswamis established the sad dharma based on Mahaprabhu's teachings. And so dharma samstapako, they established it. Dharmam Mahapurushate Charanaravinda. And for the householders, it purifies them. They're here known as Grihamadinam. Grihamadis are not supposed to be that great compared to Grihastas. But even Nanda Maharaj, Vasudev, they often refer to themselves as Grihamadis. They don't think, although they're the father of Krishna in various capacities, they always welcome the association of the pure devotees, considering themselves very fallen, although they are on the transcendental lila with Krishna. And also, within these verses, it mentions one should not imitate Krishna. Of course, if you have 16,000 wives, you could try. So, Lord Brahma, in one prayer, in 9th chapter, 3rd canto, Yashyavataro Gunakamra Vidambanani, he describes that Krishna's pastimes are mysterious imitations of our pastime. Or we're sometimes imitating his pastimes, or he imitates our pastimes. They're all his pastimes. But we are the Grihamadinam. You notice that Lord Brahma, in one of his prayers in the 14th chapter, he talks about mohangri nigato, that as long as we remain in this material world in the Grahastha ashram, this is what Lord Brahma says anyway, our material desires, ragadaya, tavad ragadaya, stena, all material desires are like thieves. Tavad kara grehe graham, and our griha is just like a prison house. Kara griha sounds like a griham also, but it's a kara, means you're locked up in it. So the prison world, many times, not sometime, many times, our material world is like the prison world, agara. We're imprisoned by our material desires. And because they're stealing away our Krishna consciousness, so they're like thieves stealing our consciousness. Rather, our consciousness should be stolen by Krishna, Chitta Hari. He's Hari also. A common thief is known as Hari. He steals away your stuff. So our material desires giving us always bad advice. Kama dinang katina katida. One devotee's prayer, he's praying for a new microphone stand. He's praying for that so many material desires. Kama dinang katina. I can't count how many material desires I have in this. So by this hearing of Krishna's pastimes and Srimad Bhagavatam, of course, Srimad Bhagavatam and Krishna, non-different. It purifies the 3 worlds. Pavanam, pavanananam, pavanebhyopi mangalam. The holy name of Krishna alone is the most purifying thing. Pavanam, pavanebhyopi mangalam, most auspicious thing. Mangalam, Mangale, there are many auspicious things, and in the Vedas, they're recommended. Most things in Kali Yuga are not very auspicious at all, even materially. But so, Prabhupada many times mentions those who Veda Vadarata, they're attached to the flowery words of the Vedas. Krishna says it directly. And there are seemingly many auspicious things. They're very attached householders. An ordinary person wouldn't be reading Srimad Bhagavatam, especially, they might be hearing it, but they had to be trained pundits to even read previously. We're fortunate that Prabhupada translated the Srimad Bhagavatam for us, or else we'd be sleeping in the womb of historical oblivion and remain forever locked up. So in the conversation with Maitreya Muni and Vidura, in the 3rd canto, there are very nice verses there. 5th chapter, especially 6th, like going, Srimad Bhagavatam is Vidya Bhagavatam, full of transcendental knowledge. Kastrit niyad tirtapado bidana. Shatreshu vasurabe idyamana. Who could be satisfied? In other words, materially you can never become satisfied, that's a fact. But even spiritually we don't become satisfied. So, but rather we hear Srimad Bhagavatam and our thirst will increase. Anandam buddhivardhanam pratibadam punam. And the more the consciousness is purified, pavanam, the more the thirst increases for this transcendental sound of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Tadvirya, in these verses also describe virya, the word is used right here. Krishnas yananta viryasya, whose prowess. Tadvirya. Gayana that Prahlad Maharaj uses this word. Tad Gayana Mahamrita Virya, Tad Virya Gayana Mahamrita Magna Chitta. When the Chitta, consciousness, is so absorbed, like Prahlad Maharaj, in this, because Krishna is so powerful, the sound is very powerful. And Tad Virya Gayana. And the chanting, Gayana, says here, not only one who chants it, but one who supports the chanting or okays it. Anumodite sometimes means approves, and sometimes takes pleasure in others. Just like Kunti Devi has the prayer, Abhikshnasha, Shinvanti Gayanti, Shinvanti Abhikshnasha. Those who hear it, those who chant it, and they take pleasure, others are hearing and chanting. Not that I always have to hear and chant, but we can hear others chant. So why should we be thinking that we have to always chant? But we can just hear. Parikara Bhaved Vyaski Kirtane. Parikara Maharaj by hearing and Shukadev by speaking. And all the others have different methods, but especially hearing and chanting. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Shinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtan is Punya. Hridyantasto Yabhadrani. All the abhadras are extracted, swept out from the heart by the hearing and chanting of the Srimad Bhagavatam. These extraordinary, amazing pastimes. Even only Narada. And Narada doesn't necessarily think that he has to only chant this extraordinary pastime. You'll find throughout Srimad Bhagavatam that he's giving very heavy instructions, never touching on these amazing pastimes. If you see Narada's instructions in the 4th canto to King Prachini Barhishat, he gave a long chapter after chapter analogy about the kings. He didn't want to blow the king out until the very end, and he really blew him out. He blew him out all along, but he really, we don't want to go in like a plow, so Narad Muni's expert at that. Just to soften the king. The king was the king, big king of the planet practically. And he had so many attachments, and he was killing animals left and right, but he thought he was very pious. So he didn't say, "King, you're a rascal," nonsense right away, but he gave a long analogy about that Paranjana. So by the time we get to chapter 29, then he starts really, as we say, kicking out the jams or something. And he starts saying, "Dear king, try to understand. There's a deer. You should go and see that deer. He's standing in the forest. He's listening to the bumblebees. It sounds so nice. But guess what? The tiger is hiding just nearby, and he's going to eat the king. He lives off flesh. And if you think that's not enough, there's a hunter with sharp arrows, and he's going to shoot that deer anyway, even if he doesn't get eaten. So one way or another, he's completely doomed. And by the way, if you don't go out and see the deer, I'll tell you what, you are that deer." He wasn't talking about all these pastimes directly. So without getting out of that prison house, as described by Lord Brahma, the shackles and the prison and the thieves, and one way or another, in every canto, you're always going to get your head bashed in by either Narad Muni. He's going to be whacking at our attachments big time. That's why I always like to remember when my old friend Kusha Karada, we were brahmacharis, so I said to him one time, "Kusha, you read so many books." But that'd be an understatement. He not only read them, he translated every word. I said, "What's a good book for the brahmachari ashram to keep them out of Maya?" He said, "Srimad Bhagavatam." Anyone remembers Kusha with his high voice? Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam, from beginning to end, it mentions at the end that although we've talked about, Sukadeva Goswami says, "I know we talked about a lot of kings and a lot of extraordinary things that go on in the material world, but really, the only intention of Srimad Bhagavatam from beginning, middle, and the end, Madhya Antya Vyavasaneshu," he said, is just to cut our attachments to this material world and create detachment from it. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, praising Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vairagya Vidya, he said, you have given Nija Bhakti Yogam. You've given your bhakti. He is Krishna, no doubt. It's described, very beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Na Krishna Jagati Paratatang Paramiha. Na Chaitanya Krishna, he's not different. So Sarvabhauma says, Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. You've given Bhakti Yoga, but that's not so. You've given it out, Krishna Prema Pradayate. But the first thing is Vairagya Vidya. You have to get the Vairagya Vidya. Savai Pung Samparo Dharma. Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Janayat Yasu Vairagyam Gyanam Chacharahitakam. Also says there Vairagya and then Gyan. But we have to first get some knowledge, then we get detachment. We get more detachment, they will desire more knowledge. And this way the increasing is going on. Bhakti is automatically there. Anukramishiti. Ado Shraddha Tatak Sarusanga. In the beginning there's some faith. What's that faith? It means enthusiasm. Wherever you put your attention. As soon as you put your attention on Vasudeva Kata, then it goes in the ear, and then you can't get it out. Wait a minute. This is transcendental sound. This is not ordinary sound. I have to hear this again. Can you say that again? Just like when we first came to the temple, we first heard Prabhupada clearly. He was chanting so many things, but he would quote Bhagavatam, quote different things. Then you will hear it even on any recording. Oh, what is that sound? It's transcendental. Prabhupada said, Bhagavatam, non-different from Hare Krishna. Don't stop them from chanting the shloka. He wanted, in the beginning when Prabhupada was having everyone chant Bhagavatam in 72 in LA, 71, they wanted everyone to chant the shloka. And sometimes the temple was filled with devotees. many would chant, not 3 or 4. And one time in 76, chanting Prahlad's prayers, the sannyasis who were leading the chanting, they somehow or other, Krishna arranged it, Mahaprabhu arranged it, that they just chanted once or twice, a couple of swamis, and then they started doing the word meaning. Prabhupada said, no, why you're stopping them? Everyone must chant the shloka. It is as good as Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam. Tadviri gaina, satam prasanga mama virya. Again, Kapila Dev says in the famous verse that the sat, these pastimes are sat, so the devotees are sat also. We associate with the devotees, we get a taste for the sat, saddharma samstarpako. So satam prasangam, and we get the association, prasangam. Prasangam ajaram pasham. Attachment for the material is the entanglement of this material world. But saesha sarashu kato moksha dvarama. If we get association with the sat, it breaks our attachment. Chinoti, geharatim chinoti. That's what it says there, Maitreya or Vidura saying, who could be satisfied? We want to hear this more and more, every moment. Kastripnya, geha, bhava pradam geharatim. We have a rati now. Our rati is not with Krishna rati, but it is with the material world. Geha rati, as said here, with the household affairs. So this bhava pradam, as it says here in this purport, is caused by our geha rati. Attached to this geha, attraction, love for the material household affairs. Not necessarily a house. You see the animals, they just have a little hole in the ground or a nest, but they are so attached. How they become also destroyed, there's given so many places in Bhagavatam, the pigeons so attached, and one pigeon is caught, and the wife pigeon or the male pigeon sees his wife, and he goes and he gets caught. Everybody's getting caught in the web, whether they're insects or pigeons or humans, demigods. Pom sastriya mituni bhavameitam tayo mito hidegantama ato grihakshetra. So in the human form, we get land. They also get their little land. A lot of animals think their land is under my house, actually. Or they making noises under there. And they always want to get their spot. Geharati. When Prabhupada was on a morning walk, several times he would point to pigeon droppings or bird droppings and say, what does this mean? Of course, in those days, even now we know. Secret's out, but they even tried to give an answer. I forget what the different answers were. It means they're so attached, they're up in their nest and they're pooping in the same place, Prabhupada said, right here. So he's saying everyone is attached like that in this material world, whether there's a bird, beasts. So near the end of the Bhagavatam, it describes there for Bahu Sambhavanti. We've gotten so many births. Turnam Yateta. Turnam Yateta. Immediately. Turnam Yateta Namrityu. What is the verse of that verse? Immediately, one should give up this attachment and go out. What did Prahlad tell his father? He asked him, what did you learn, son, my boy? You learned so many good things, how to hate everybody in the Gurukula, how to create dissension amongst the enemies. Have you learned all that nicely? No, I didn't learn anything there. That was very good. But I do know one thing. Vanam gatoya darimashrita. You should get out of here right away. You're the most attached person. Suravaja dehinam. He didn't say daddy. He said, oh, best of the demons. Tatsaramanya. What is that? Saramanyata. No. Tatsaramanye. What is the rest? Suravaja dehinam. What is it? Sada samodvigna dhyama sadgrahat. There's no real bargain in being attached. He says, Sada samodvigna. You're always and anxiety. Sada samodvinidhyam asad, because you haven't become attracted to this Krishna katanunam katamrita. Rather, you're so attached to the material world. Asad grihat, you've accepted this asat. Therefore, immediately get out. This is what similar thing that was said to Dhritarashtra. You should get out of here. When Vidura saw him, he said, you're just really attached. I mean, just see, your teeth are all wobbly and your liver doesn't work. You've been blind from birth, coughing up mucus. You've got nothing. All your sons have been killed. You're living like a dog. The very people that killed your own sons, and you're living here like a dog. Get out. So we're in that position of Dhritarashtra, living like dogs. Why is it only Dhritarashtra and not anybody else? Bhagavatam is for everybody. Sarva. Sarvatma snapanam param vijayate. It's meant to bathe everyone, purify everyone. Sarvatma snapanam param vijayate. Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Krishna Sankirtanam is not only, of course, going out in the street, that's recommended, book distribution, but at every moment, a bhikshnasa, one should be hearing chanting, or at least supporting those who hear and chant. Reminds me of that funny thing that PB, Param Brahmi, was my neighbor, and I was putting a culvert. We were all sharing the same driveway, and it's kind of funny. He said it was funny. I thought it was funny. And I was trying to get paid back. I laid out the money for it wasn't that much in those days, like $400 or $500, $600 maybe. So I said, PB, you just pay your share. What are you going to do? He said, I'll drive over it. I said, it was pretty funny. He said, I'll drive over it. So we should, Prabhupada's already given everything. We just have to read the book. We don't have to translate the book. We don't have to invent the mantra. We got the mantra, we got the book. We have the deity. It's all been given. All we have to do is just go, as Vaisheshika says, show up. Right? Famous. He might have stolen it from someone else. I don't know. We just have to show up. Utsaha nischad daryat. Tat karma. Follow in the footsteps of the great personalities. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also made it easier. Like, he was a householder. As a householder, what did he do? The whole time, somebody would say, hey, Nimai, you're not doing puja. No, I'm sorry, I can't do puja. Why is that? I've changed my clothes. Crying. That's not our problem. We don't cry that much while we do puja. But his wife was cooking constantly and serving all the devotees. He was folding the clothes of all the devotees and washing them. And he was exemplary, super exemplary. Still, he gave it up. Taktva sudustita sorepchitara jalakshmin dharmishta arya. In the Dharma, he was maintaining Dharma palo, dharmishta arya vachasa, by the word of the Brahmanas. Either you say prediction of the Bhagavatam, or that one Brahmin cursed him directly for not getting into the Kirtan. He said, I curse you, you will never be attached. You'll never have any material prosperity. He didn't mind, so. But anyway, as you take that verse, that which is, even the Devas, they want so much. Sovereignty over Lakshmi. He has it. He's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He gives it up. His wife is Vishnu Priya, Lakshmi Priya. Taktvasu dustya, that which is so hard to give up. He has sovereignty over Lakshmi Devi, Radharani. Taktvasu dustaripchita ipshitara jalakshmin dharmishta arya vachasa yadaga daranyam. What does he do? Yadaga daranyam. He goes to the forest. Aranya. Arana tena gantabhyam. Chanakya Pandit says, Aranya tena, you should just go to the forest if your Mata Yasha Gahe Nasti Baya Cha Priya Vadini. If you don't have a nice mom at home or a wife that speaks very sweetly, Aranya, then go to the forest, because your house is as good as the forest. What is the use? You have your animal wife and mom hassling you. But Mahaprabhu didn't have animal wife, forest dwellers. No. He had Lakshmi and Mata Sachi. Still, he gives it up. Why does he give it up? Mayamargam dayati gabe shita anvadavat. He's full of dayata, full of mercy. Dayati hipshita anvadavat. Mayamargam. For the Mayamargam, those who are animals in this forest of material world. Mayamargam. Mayamrigam means a little animal or a deer. You know, the deer is chasing after its own scent or some illusion. So the deer is given as the example. Mayamrigam dayatepshi anvadavad. Bande mahapurushate charana. Therefore we offer all respects. This is a prayer in the 11th canto, chapter 3. Bande mahapurushate. He's the Mahapurusha. Mahaprabhu is the Mahapurusha. And so he appears. Sometimes that applies to Lord Ram, because he goes to the forest. And he shows the example also of the Ekapatni Grihastha, about how he suffers due to so-called attachment to Mother Sita. He has to show the example. Therefore he kills Ravana and all his associates. But as Mahaprabhu, then he's Dayati Epshita Anvada, but he takes sannyas. He goes in the forest, he goes in Jarikanda. The animals are chanting. Don't try that at home. If you can get, Prabhupada said, we definitely cannot get tigers to jump and dance and kiss deers. Actually, it's not so amazing nowadays. They have all these videos they're posting on the internet. It shows animals, you know, sometimes a leopard and hugging a deer, some weird stuff, you know. So, what to speak of Mahaprabhu inducing? He said, but we can get the humans to at least take up Krishna consciousness. They can chant and dance. They're so-called. Although they're Duipad Pashu, two-legged animals, Duipad Pashu. Barodorachar, they're very misbehaved. Still, they dance automatically. Go on the beach. When the Harinam is very nice, they might have been drinking beer, eating some unmentionable thing, and they just forget about it, and suddenly they're jumping around with the devotees. Magic Harinam. And they just put their hamburger down, they put their beer down. Big kids, even the little kids at the football game, they get a big thing of beer like this size of a football. That's the first beer when they're like 3 years old. They put it down and they're chanting. The kid is sipping the beer with a straw. They're trained up. Kaumara Machara Pragya, just like the Gurukula. They have their Gurukul, learning how to drink the nectar and very little. So, material world's a prison house, and but Krishna is not. He says in Bhagavad Gita, Utside orime loka. If I didn't, there's nothing really, nanavaptam abap trisha lokesha kinchana. He doesn't want anything within the three worlds, but he comes here and shows the example, or else everything would be destroyed. Upahanyami ma praja. So therefore, I carefully follow. So sometimes that puzzle is answered also, that everyone doesn't even see Krishna in 16,000 forms. Only Narad Muni could see it. They're all thinking, is this Krishna? Here, like the gopis are thinking, Krishna is with me. And when the gopis are chanting, they didn't even know. Oh, you also love Krishna? Yes. Didn't know the others. They thought they're the only one attracted to Krishna. The queens are thinking that. Okay, so if there's any discussion. His hand that first went up.
Very nice class. Super excellent. We know the Grihastas within the Varnashram system. It's a must that they renounce family life after a certain time and go to the forest or whatever. But what about the Grihastas in ISKCON, the ISKCON movement? Is that applied to them or to some degree or a little degree? Can you focus a little on that?
Prabhupada said the Western boys are not fit for sannyas. In the third 8.3, in the story of Gajendra, he said that Western boys, we have seen the Western boys are not fit for sannyas. So Prabhupada said we're all boys and girls. We're all boys, or we're not fit. No, those who are fit, they should immediately take sannyas. We're supposed to be in touch with the super soul. Sarva bhuta stitam yomam, yomam pashati. So many verses in 6th chapter of the Gita. So, just like in the art department, we used to ask Prabhupada so many questions. Finally, he said, just take instruction from super soul. No need to bother me. So, if one thinks he's fit, then he should take. But if you read 3rd chapter of Gita, 5th chapter, sannyasas tu mahabaho, many verses. Sarvabhutatma bhutatma, someone in this mood, he'll see all living entity, atmaupamina, as himself, and gradually he'll pull himself out. But yeah, we've seen so many people artificially take it, so obviously we have to apply all the rules simultaneously, not just one. But it shouldn't be discouraged, but not artificially encouraged. Prabhupada said, be intelligent also. So what does that mean? Be intelligent. Be intelligent. Prabhupada says, you should be intelligent. I mean, it's funny. Prabhupada is funny, extraordinarily funny. So funny that if you think of what he says, for lifetimes you'll still be laughing your head off. Be intelligent. Just like little Gopal the other day, he was laughing his head off. He's 7 years old and he's watching Prabhupada, people's memories of Prabhupada, and he's cracking up. Because Prabhupada is so funny, and he loves the funny things. Just like Lokanath Maharaj tells the story, and Gopal was telling the story. He said, oh, Lokanath Maharaj was telling the story of Prabhupada. He's asking Prabhupada on the beach, so many birds are flying in formation. Prabhupada, no, Lokanath Maharaj, but I don't think he was even a sannyasi, he was a brahmachari. How are they all flying in formation? How do they do that? And Prabhupada said, they are not less intelligent like you. So, Gopal is still laughing. He's only 7, so what to speak? We should have some sense of humor. Prabhupada's so funny. But he's always cutting. Seva sadhu shu kato moksha dvaram apavritam. He's a great sadhu. He's cutting all the time, our attachment. So if we become attached to listening to Prabhupada, our attachments will automatically fall away. No need to, One time, when Prabhupada was being approached by several brahmacharis, they wanted to take sannyas. He said, why so many brahmacharis want to carry a stick? From Prabhupada's angle, it's funny. You're already a brahmachari. I mean, if you check out the 12 Mahajans, none of them are sannyasis. They're brahmacharis. They don't carry sticks. Narad Muni, 4 Kumars, Kapila, do they carry? No. They don't carry a tridandi, but they're the Mahajans. We follow them. Bhishma Dev, he definitely doesn't carry a danda. Anything else?
So in the verse, we're saying that if one of the residents of one of Krishna's palaces happened to go to another part of Dwarka, that they wouldn't see Krishna in that other area of the town?
It sounds to me like that's what it said. I reread it from Vishwanath Chakravarti. It says the same thing in the Sarta Darshan. So when I read it there, then it sounded, even though they're just quoting it exactly, or Bhanu was quoting it, and vice versa. But yeah, that's what it sounds like.
But Narada Muni, when he was going
Narada
around,
Muni could see it.
he could see it.
I mean, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in 7 different kirtan parties, everybody can't see it, but a few people can see it. Or when he comes to Panihati and Nityananda is putting food in his mouth. Nityananda, Nitai sees it, others few can see it. Very fortunate, but not everybody sees. They must look kind of funny though. What's he doing with that prasadam, putting it somewhere? So anyway, that's the story. We're sticking to it, yes? The hands? No.
Didn't Prabhupada say that if someone was following in the Grihastha ashram that it was as good as sannyas?
He said it. He also mentioned about, I don't know how many hits there are, but what is it? Panchas Ordvam Vanam. At 50, you're supposed to take sannyas or go to the forest, take vanaprastha. Not vanam. In those days they went, because I guess right outside your door was the forest anyway. Now the forest is New York, or you can go to the jungle of South Chicago where 1 out of 11 guys live past 64 because they get killed by someone. Yeah.
A quick comment on Param Brahman you mentioned. Actually, he is the pioneer for this temple.
Right.
The foundation. So he told me when they were building, he said, don't you want to leave a mark on this temple? I said, what can I do? I said, okay, I'll do the molding for the windows. So he allowed me to do that.
What, you made them or you paid for it?
I did the moldings. I put them on, I cut them and put them on. I said, I was so lucky, in
The inside molding? Outside?
the outside, on the windows.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he was.
It was funny. I'll drive over it. So, Mankamari, his wife, gave me the money anyway. Anything else? Okay. Hare Krishna.